If you were a 90s kid, there's a good chance you played the Oregon Trail computer game. Now it's coming to life on stage through November 20th.
KATU's Wesley Ogle is live at the Armory in Northwest Portland. Wesley, a lot of work went into making the props for this play.
Yeah, and you can see probably the main prop right behind me, this awesome covered wagon. And we're going to talk to the girl who kind of made all of this happen. So this is Rachel, and she's the lead props artisan. Thank you for being here so early.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Okay, so you actually did a lot of research and took a little trip to make this all happen.
Yeah, I went to Baker City, Oregon, and kind of walked the Oregon Trail in reverse through the Painted Hills, and then got to the Wallowas. And I visited the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center in Baker City and saw a lot of these covered wagons, how the replicas and some authentic ones, and how they looked in real life. So that was really informative when we were making this in terms of the design choices we were making and how things attach.
So what's authentic about it and what's maybe not as authentic?
The wagon itself, all the woodwork is pretty authentic. The box in the front and the wagon wheels were based off of like actual designs that we saw in Baker City. And then what's slightly a little more cartoony to throw back to the computer game, because that's a big part of the show, is like the way that it's a little bit exaggerated shape, and the wheels kind of like come in and turn in. So obviously this wouldn't work in real life.
And I love this. Okay, so this is obviously not very authentic. We got this 800-pound bag of food, which is definitely not 800 pounds. And then, of course, we need to talk about what is on the ground here. This is disgusting, but you had to research dysentery to make the puke for it. Tell us about that.
We were looking at dysentery symptoms to kind of have accurate depictions of the vomit. And so there's like, the green one is a lot of bile. And
quickly tell us just what's in this.
There's some sawdust, there's some rubber, there's some styrofoam. There's a lot of stuff we just found around the shop, and then the rest of it is silicone rubber as the base.
I love it. Rachel, thank you so much. This is disgusting. Rhonda, aren't you so happy you get to go right after this?
This is awesome. This has made my day, actually. I'm not sure why I needed to know what was in the puke from dysentery, but now I do. All right, 5:50,
Nice.
weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Thanks, Wesley. We'll hear more from her later.
The Oregon Trail computer game taught kids about the hardships of life in the 1800s. The Oregon Trail play aims to make you laugh from all that 90s nostalgia.
KATU's Wesley Ogle is live backstage at the Army where the play runs through November 20th. Wesley, there's a little bit of time travel in this.
Yes, there is. It takes place in different time periods, going like back and forth. And we have Emily here. She plays Marianne, and you're actually the only character who kind of lives in all of those time periods. So what, you're 1848, 1997, and 2009?
Yeah,
What's that
that's
like?
correct. It's really fun as an actor, and very interesting as we deal with the different time periods differently theatrically. We're hyper realistic with 2009 and 1997, and then we get into into a heightened reality in 1848, which is really fun as an actor, and jumping in between and like popping off a dress and popping on a new costume and popping into the new reality.
Yeah, and you can see some of these aren't your actual dresses that you wear, but you wear period clothes like this.
Yes, in 1848, these are our pioneer dresses. This is our non-distressed dress. This is my sister's dress, because ours are preset for all my changes backstage. But it's still pretty distressed, as you can see. And then then there's also our distressed dresses.
Looking a little rough.
Since we've been on the trail for a couple months at this point.
And so you have really quick changes, and the most changes in the entire show. Tell me what that's like.
Definitely. It's pretty nerve-wracking. Sometimes it was during previews, and now it's really down to a science, but I've got 2 people helping me, sometimes up to 4 people who are grabbing things off me, tearing off clothes as I step into my old dress and run on stage as the curtain rises.
And you even, on one of the previews, you didn't make a couple of them.
Yeah, during the first preview, which is a time when the audience is aware that we're still working working on the show. But during the first preview, there were 2 changes that I basically didn't make. The curtain was raising as I was running on stage for one, and another one as I dove onto the stage, like diving into home base.
But now you've got it. Now you've got it. And
down
just quickly, I want to point out her 90s stuff, which is great. Lip smackers, you can have those as a 90s girl. So it's perfect. Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate it. We're going to meet another one of the stars of the show coming up at 6:38. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Fording rivers, watching out for snakes, and dying of dysentery. You can see it all on stage. The Oregon Trail is playing now through November 20th at the Armory.
K2's Wesley Ogle is live in Northwest Portland this morning. And Wesley, this show doesn't just take place in the 1800s.
That's true. There's a little bit of time travel going on, but you can see this huge covered wagon behind me, a really central piece of this production. But yeah, it doesn't just take place in 1848. We're going to come over here all the way back to 1997, which was such a great year.
It really was.
Wasn't it great? We have Sarah here. She plays the main character. You are now Jane.
Yeah.
And kind of just tell us where we are right now and what's over here.
So this is the computer lab set in 1997, and now Jane is kind of a loner, kind of emo, if you know what that means.
Duh.
Yeah,
I was totally emo.
So was I, just a little bit. And so it's and she is a bit of a loner, but she's really good friends with her computer and the game, the Oregon Trail. So this is where she comes after school in the 90s and plays the game, the Oregon
That's supposed
Trail.
to be on a floppy disk, of course.
Yeah.
I love that. And you actually interact with the computer, so you're talking to the computer.
Yeah. So the game has a voice, and then but the voice sort of becomes like not just the voice of the game, but the voice of my unconscious in a way, like almost like my alter ego, and I have like lots of conversations with it. And in a way, the computer game and the voice is who Jane is able to really be with the most in the play, if that makes sense.
And this is really like a coming of age story for you.
Yeah,
as
absolutely. Now Jane, and it's a coming of age story for then Jane as well, really about these 2 women who struggle with sadness, with this feeling that they don't really understand about why they feel this sort of weight on them. And the coming of age story is learning how to deal with that struggle and still live a life and still be with other people.
But we want to let people know also, this is funny. I mean, you guys, the audience, are cracking up.
I mean, there's a floppy disk in it, doesn't that?
How can you not? And a disc man. We got to quickly talk about this. Was this so fun to just play with this disc man again?
Yes, because I was obsessed with my disc man back in the day, and I loved CDs. And I was like, when I got sad, I was like really emotional, and I would listen to my CDs, and that's exactly what Jane does. So it's been a throwback.
Too fun. Sarah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. The Oregon Trail production here at the Armory runs through November 20th. Go to KATU.com for more information. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
A throwback in many ways for a lot of people, Wesley. Thanks.